Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Modeling League's Dungeonbowl. We are in the final week of regulation, and we have one of the two most important games in this competition, perhaps the most important games in this season so far. One of our teams tonight is fighting to stay alive, to make the cut to the top four, and maybe even earn a spot in this season's Blood Bowl. Tonight, it's going to be the Dead Poets versus Deadly Biscuits, S Beaver versus Runbad, Undead versus Black Orcs. Let's take a look at the standings before we take a look at the two teams. Welcome to the stream, SB Beaver and Nurgle's Rot. In Division A, Kind Sirs, Kind Peacocks, they have finished regulation with a record of 4-1-1. They have 13 points. That's a Kind Sirs Imperial Nobility team. The Dead Poets, coached by S Beaver, currently in second place. They were in first place for a lot of this competition, got knocked down into second place by Kind Peacocks. They're an Undead team. 3-1-1 is their record. The Dead Poets facing off against Runbad's Deadly Biscuits this evening. The Deadly Biscuits have been eliminated from this competition. The Dead Poets still alive. The Dead Poets must win tonight in order to keep their hopes alive. That'll bring their final point standing up to 13 points and put them in pretty good shape. But there's one more game we got to talk about. There's one more team that might knock out the Dead Poets. If the Dead Poets lose tonight, or rather I should say if they don't win tonight, if they lose or draw tonight, the Kind Peacocks will be advancing. Wow, that's not what I wanted. There we go. As will JD Whitey's Forest of Flames. They're a Wood Elf team. They are 5-0-0 currently. The Harlequins will also advance if the Dead Poets don't win tonight. But here's the rub. The Harlequins are going to face the Forest of Flames this week. If the Harlequins win that game, and the Dead Poets don't win, then the Harlequins will advance. If the Dead Poets win and the Harlequins win, the Harlequins knock out the Dead Poets. If the Harlequins draw, it'll come down to the TD differential, and the Dead Poets will beat the Harlequins in that measure. So, to recap here, the Dead Poets need to win to stay alive. The Harlequins then will determine who's going to make the top four. Will it be the Harlequins or will it be the Dead Poets? If the Harlequins win, that's it. The Dead Poets have been eliminated. If the Dead Poets lose, that's it. The Dead Poets have been eliminated. If the Dead Poets win tonight, it all comes down to this game right here, the Forest of Flame versus the Harlequins BBFC. And that is our second very important game here in Week 7. Over in Division C, just one team's going to make the cut here, and that's going to be Nick Satan Cenozoic Park. They've already made the cut. They're in first place. Nobody's going to be able to beat them. They're a Lizard team. 4-0-1 is their record. Ian's Street Fighter Turbo Max, a good showing here in second place. Cast Renegade team, 2-2-1 is their record going into Week 7. Old Gamer Mike says, so you're saying there'll be an Undead team in the Dungeon Bowl? Kind of fitting. There will. There will indeed be an Undead team in the the Dungeon Bowl. First up tonight, the home team, the Dead Poets, are coming in a TV of 1,375,000 gold. They have all 11 players on their roster. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can count. 2 mummies, 2 white blitzers, 3 of the 4 gold runners, and a bunch of zombos. 5 dedicated fans, 4 rerolls for this team. They're going to be up against the Black Orcs of Runbad's Deadly Biscuits. This was a fresh team coming into this competition and just hasn't been able to really get it started here. Unfortunately, hasn't been able to make good use of the inducement. This is a tough team to come in at a low TV versus high TV, I think. A tough team to coach, period. And when you're coming in at a low TV, facing off against teams that have already had 2 competitions into the season, that's just a rough place to be. Runbad gave it a good go, however, has been eliminated, but could, in fact, dash the dreams of the Dead Poets here tonight. They coming in a TV of 880,000 gold. They're going to start with just 8 players on the roster. That means 3 players they'll need to pick up. That's going to bring their effective TV up to 45, 90, 135, 9, 10, 1025, I think? 1015. Regardless, that means that just shy of the money to pick up Morgenthorpe in this matchup. I imagine that means we're going to see Varag as the star player inducement instead. Has the one train troll, has all 6 black orcs, has a couple of goblins. We'll pick up a few more as journeyman. One dedicated fan, just the 2 rerolls. How are these 2 teams going to play out tonight? Well, the Dead Poets, they've got a solid roster here. So 2 mummies, 2 white blitzers, 3 ghoul runners. The mummies have mighty blow, block, and guard. That's exactly what you want on these mummies. That's what he has. Very solid. The 2 white blitzers have picked up tackle as well. Not a terribly big deal in this matchup. You can certainly mark those goblins, and that could play a big role. But you can see Morrison here already injured twice. So if Morrison gets knocked down, might be a good target for a run bad in this matchup tonight. Knock down Morgan. It's Darkstalkers all of a sudden. If Morrison gets knocked down and you have to get to an injury roll, that's a +2. So that could be a big loss here for the Dead Poets. They have the 3 ghoul runners instead of all 4. At this point in the competition, I would probably pick 4. I'm also not gunning for a top 4 spot though, so it doesn't matter so much what I think. But he does have an extra point of movement on Joplin. I think that's huge. It's a blodger with sure hands. That's the ball carrier for sure. Thane, also a blodger. Hendrix the second is a rookie and just has the dodge skill. But these are the speed pieces, right? You have these ghoul runners. You can do a lot of things with these ghoul runners, right? These are your ball carriers. These are your foulers. These are the players that you can get into an assist to get that crucial assist you need, whether it's a mummy or a zombo. 2 zombies with the block skill as well. That's generally the first skill you're going to pick up on a zombie. They're there to take hits. They're there to make hits and otherwise just exert tackle zones. Very cheap pieces and a solid piece for the price, I think. This is a great roster, right? He's got a lot of block. He's got a couple of blodgers. He's got sure hands. He's got those 2 mummies. He has a ton of rerolls, 4 rerolls as well. I don't think he could ask for a whole lot more in this competition. Maybe a ghoul runner with that was a fouler, like a sneaky get dirty player. He had one, but dropped it for one of the competitions this week. Wanted to get under a certain TV value, and you know what? That's worked out. He's here now, gunning for the top 4 spot. So might not have it for this matchup, but you can tell that S. Beaver's been playing a very strategic game all competition and indeed all season long. Really wants to make the top 4 slot. Really wants to make it into the Blood Bowl here this season. We'll see if he can make it happen tonight. Run Bad's going to be in his way with these black orcs. He's going to pick up a few goblin journeymen. Journeymen are never great, but I don't think he minds too much. I think really the only hindrance here is that he doesn't have a gobbler with sure hands. So doesn't have that reroll that he really needs. He's got to pick that ball up. He only has the 2 rerolls. I think that hurts a little bit. He does have a black orc with block and guard. That is great. He has another black orc here who's picked up Juggernaut. I think that's great as well. He really needs to lean into this brawler and grab skill. And the only way he can do that is if he really has excellent action order tonight. S. Beaver needs to be aware of that, needs to try to pull players out of position on this team. If he can do that, he can play the reroll management game, burn those 2 rerolls of this orc team, and now this orc team's going to be in real trouble. They don't have a lot of block. They don't have a lot of free rerolls. Sure hands, again, I think that's a big loss on this roster as well. If the Deadly Biscuits can leverage their inducement, which I think is going to be Varag Ghoul Chewer, and start picking up players on the offensive team and pulling them out of position with grab, he might have a shot here. Lots of strength on this roster. He does have grab and brawler. Brawler's like a poor man's block. He can re-roll a both down result. So that could be a way he comes out. In fact, I think that's the only way he's going to come out on top in this matchup. He's going to leverage. He needs to leverage all that strength. I think he needs to lean into that here in the inducement phase to pick up Varag Ghoul Chewer. You can see there he's 20k shy of Morg. Not going to pick up Morg. Otherwise, it absolutely would have been a Morg pickup. And there it is indeed. He's picking up Varag, getting that extra strength, leaning into that with another player with the block skill, with a player with Mighty Blow. He's picked up Bomber Dribble Snot as well. Bomber, a star. Oh, Varag is awesome. Look at that. Bomber, not a sneaky get. He's a secret weapon, right? That bag of bombs, technically not allowed in the game of Blood Bowl, but the ref's not going to pick it up until after a drive, in which he's going to be called off the pitch. So that's a fun one as well. Has the 2-star players. You can only take 2-star players. And he'll need to leverage them and all that strength with grab in order to pull players out of position on this undead team. The undead team is a running team. They're not a passing team. They want to keep that ball carrier safe. They'll usually have a tight cage around their ball carrier, which is oftentimes going to be a ghoul. The ghoul does not have regen. The ghoul is the most fragile piece on this team. Does have they do start with dodge. Most of them have block, as we saw earlier, but they only have an AV of 8+. So very easy to break their armor once knocked down. And without regen, they tend to just stay off the pitch. So the Deadly Biscuits are absolutely going to be hunting down those ghoul runners when at all possible. But again, it's going to be such a tricky thing to do here without the skills, right? Doesn't have a lot of block, doesn't have, only has the 2 rerolls. It's going to be a tough matchup, I think, for this Black Orc team. But if anyone can do it, I think Runbad can do it. So we'll see what happens here in this matchup as the Dead Poets set up their offense against this very tight defensive formation. 3 spread wide on the line for the defense. Those ghouls, these aren't ghouls, these are goblins. These goblins are being, in the secondary, being protected by these Black Orcs. The troll off the line as well. Again, Runbad knows he needs to lean into the strength game. This is his highest strength piece. Wants to reposition this troll to where it needs to be so he can get that strength onto the players that he needs it to be on. If that troll is just marked and tagged out of a drive, that is going to hurt this Black Orc team immensely because they have really nothing else on the roster to fall back on. Elder Bruno says Bomber's a good call versus the low edge mummies. Bomber Dribble's not the center safety here in the defense. 3 on the line currently for the Dead Poets. Oh, Gamer Mike, thank you very much for the bits, by the way. I appreciate it. Joplin naturally back to receive with short hands. Here's the kick. Shallow kick. Each team gets a bribe. I think the Deadly Biscuits are absolutely fine with that. Turn 1 now for the Dead Poets. They have to win tonight to have a shot at the top 4. Their first block of the evening is going to be a knockdown against Choco Gobnobs, the number 5 Black Orc. This is great news for Unbad. Yes, indeed. And there's a KO. Right off the bat, a 1-man player advantage for the Dead Poets. Spire, welcome to the stream. Gets a pal against Jaffa Snakes. 9+ breaks armor with Mighty Blow here. Boy, oh boy, it is turn 1. Turn 1. 2 removals for the Dead Poets. The injury on the right defensive end here. That's what the mummies are there to do. They are there to maim and injure. Took the blocks. Now repositioning players. Going in for the ball pickup with Joplin. Good pickup. That'll be the ball carrier. Joplin currently on the 8-yard line for the Dead Poets. And now turn 1 back to the Deadly Biscuits here. They've lost 2 players before even starting the game. Minute 30 into the turn here for the Deadly Biscuits. Starting the turn with a Bombardier toss. And now the interception roll is going to be made. This is just a normal pass. So the offense can intercept it, and if they do, they will be able to throw this bomb right back at the defense. Waiting for the choice of interceptor by the Dead Poets. Oh boy, I love bombardiers. One man player. One man player advantage for the Dead Poets now. Powell and Lennon, the right tackle for the offense. Great knockdown. Great. Tizzle Bizzle rooting for this offense. Tizzle Bizzle, welcome to the stream. Oh, one of my favorite things in Blood Bowl, man. And now a mark on the ball carrier after that great blitz on that right defensive end. Deadly Biscuits losing 2 players before they even got to play, and now with a bomber dribble snot bomb toss, got a mark on the ball carrier. This defense now enclosing the offense. Turn 2 now for the Deadly Poets. Don't forget, both teams also have a bribe on deck. Always a great block on a mummy. They have an MA of 3, which means they're just done, right? You get a knockdown, they cost 3 MA to stand up. Even if they want to blitz with that player, they've got to rush first in order to do so. Tonight block on the star player of Varai Ghoulchewer. He was the blitzer in the last turn. It's going to be a 9+ to break armor here. No armor break. So Varag, now that we have the once per game skills are now in. Varag with Crushing Blow, you can see here once per game. He could do basically a once per game Mighty Blow here. Well, half a Mighty Blow, I guess. You can get a +1 to the armor value. Let's see what Bomber can do. Once per game, if a bomb thrown by Bomber Dribble Snot is caught by an opponent, he can make it explode immediately rather than rolling to... Oh, that's lovely. That is lovely. Oh, man. Don't catch that bomb. Don't catch that bomb. .23 seconds left in turn 2. The Dead Poets are going to cross the line of scrimmage here onto the opposing 2-yard line. Remember, Joplin's MA8. That means 11 spaces Joplin can move in a single turn with 2 rushes. Not 11. That would be 10. 10 spaces. Joplin does not have sprint. 10 spaces Joplin can move. There are 13 from the line of scrimmage to the end zone. Gets a push against Jaffa Snakes on the bonus clock now. With 2 players left to action on the left side of the line. Takes an uphill block against the big guy. And we'll get a push out of this. Spire says time to bomb some ghouls. Let's go. Let's go. Turn 2 for the Deadly Biscuits. Let's go. Not that I'm rooting for SP to lose. I love Bomber. Takes a mark on Morrison, the number 4 white blitzer. Troll repositions across the line of scrimmage, takes a mark against the rookie zombie Winehouse. Here's the pass. Bomber Dribble Snot tossing a bomb at this ball carrier contingent over in the right wide zone. Who's going to try to intercept here? Or is anybody going to try to intercept? Remember, Bomber does have that skill, that once per game skill, where if you catch the ball, he can just make it explode. All right. Looks like, did he try to catch it? He did try to catch it there. Tried to catch it, didn't work out. Got a knockout on Hendricks the second. This is going to expose the ball carrier. Two-die block on Johnson. Gets a knockdown here. Breaks armor. Gets an injury out of it. Well done. All tied up on the pitch now. 9v9. Here's the blitz. Rush blitz. Two-die blitz. Got the POW on the ball carrier. We'll see if Joplin stays on the pitch with a 7+ to break armor. They do. The ball will scatter to the left. Great blitz by the Deadly Biscuits. Now they have a mark on the ball as well. Oh, this looks like the pass and not the blitz. That's all right. I'll watch the pass. Didn't catch the replay in time, unfortunately. Or rather, whenever I get the old replay, it's because I didn't give enough time for the file to write out. So good recovery here by the Deadly Biscuits. Tim Tam in possession of the ball. The defense picking it up here on turn 2. Good 3+ dodge away as well. The defense has the ball on their own 8-yard line. The Dead Poets now trying to recover. So far, Bomber Dribble's not paying dividends here in this matchup. We talked about how in the pregame, how I think in this matchup, the Blackwork team in particular, I think it hurts them to have to pick up the inducements rather than have the skills more than, say, this Undead team. But boy, Run Bad really showing what you can do with a couple of key star players. Two-die blitz on Custard Cream. Gets a POW here. 9+ will break armor. No armor break. Almost certainly going to try to blitz the ball carrier. We'll need to dodge out of the way first. Oh, he already spent the blitz. Oh, no. That was a blitz. We'll try to mark the ball carrier. Takes a 1 die against Varag. It's going to be a both standing result here. So it looks like he's not going to go after the ball. He's going to try to stay ahead of the ball. 2-die uphill against the Troll. Gets a push here. Takes another uphill block, this time against Jaffa Snakes. And it's going to get another push out of this. Turn 3 for the Deadly Biscuits. Deadly Biscuits shift this ball to the left. Tim Tam in control of the ball. 1 rush. 2 more rushes to try to hand off to number 10. Oh no, spent the brawler here on the 2 both downs. Rather than spending the team reroll, I think that was probably the right call, but that's a little more risky. Rolled into a skull, and that's going to be a null turn. A little bit of a shot here for the Dead Poets to try to recover this ball, but still finding a lot of their players marked. Harrison and Lennon are both currently free. They could rush blitz Tim Tam. But then the question is, who else can get to that ball and try to recover it? Gets an assist for the 2-die block against Varag. Double POWs here by Thane. Keeping Varag, trying to keep Varag out of the drive here. Varag now knocked down just off the right sideline on the Deadly Biscuits 4-yard line. Varag strength 5, mighty blow block. He is going to rush blitz. 2-die blitz. Gets the knockdown here. We'll see if Tim Tam stays on the pitch. Tim Tam does, and the ball will bounce 1 space to the right. So now the ball on the ground on the Deadly Biscuits' own 6-yard line. And this almost certainly means a scrum is going to start to form around this ball. In this position, it's really tough to say who would have the advantage, because Bomber becomes a little more risky in a scrum. And while the Deadly Biscuits have the strength advantage on the whole, those mummies with strength 5 can be real tough to deal with. They also have block, they also have guard, so they're giving a point. R.I.P. R.I.P. Bomber. Bomber, no! Bomber, why? Bomber, please! Say something, Bomber! Somebody get the apothecary! Bomber's dying! Bomber's dying! Oh, Bomber! Dribble snot! The Dead Poets, very pleased with that removal. It says, he'll be back. So Bomber dribble snot out of the game. Was going to be called off at the end of the drive regardless, but man, that's a huge punch to the gut here for the Deadly Biscuits. Turn 4 now for the Deadly Biscuit. It is for the Deadly Biscuits. It's the final turn of the first quarter. Good removal there by the Dead Poets. Probably re-rolls this both down result, yeah. Oh no, he's got the block skill. He wouldn't re-roll that at all. Varag, rush, blitz, 2-die blitz on Harrison the Mummy. It's a both standing result, unfortunately. Trying to clear that, well, trying to clear the Mummy off the ball. Now 2-die block on Winehouse. Will spend Brawler. This time gets the POW. It can be real tricky to know when to spend Brawler when you only have 2 rerolls. Troll turns really stupid here. Will free up Alexander. Whoa! Tim Tam with the clutch pickup. Now needs, oh, you can do the 5+ pickup, but you can't can't pass a dodge. Had to use the team reroll there. It worked out. Wow. Wow. Some strategic repositioning here by the Deadly Biscuits. Tim Tam on the pickup. That was pro, yeah. Turn 5 now for the Dead Poets. Wow. What an intense first quarter of the game. Fails the rush with Feign. Spends the reroll. The Dead Poets down to 2 rerolls. They started with 4. Trying to get Feign in position as a safety. Two-die block on the number 10 lineman here. Gets the knockdown thanks to the block skill. Breaks armor. Gets a stun. .49 seconds to go here in turn 5. Wow, what an action-packed first quarter. This is crazy town. There's a mark on the ball carrier with Hendricks II, the rookie ghoul runner. Remember, the ball carrier does have the dodge skill. So Tim Tam will get a free reroll on the dodge if need be. A 1-die block into a skull with Varag. Decides to spend the reroll here. I think that was a very good call. Oh no, I thought he was freeing up the Mummy. I don't know if I like the reroll now. I thought it came from Lara Dern. I thought he was freeing up the mummy, but nope. So now the dead poet's down to 1 reroll. Three plus dodge to take a 2-die block. Got the pal on Tim Tam here. And breaks armor. And that ball went flying. Where did that ball go? Wow. Oh, man. Got a stun. I thought he almost caught it there. Ball bounced back into the hands of the Blitzer. Blitzer obviously did not catch it, and the ball's going to bounce on the 2-yard line just inside the left wide zone. Turn 5 now for the Deadly Biscuits. So a scrum not allowed to form a couple of turns ago. We're now in turn 5. The Deadly Biscuits still stopping this offense. They have to do it for another quarter, and they're going to start with 2 pals here against Alexander, the number 13 lineman. I don't know, man. You kill a star player, I think you lose fans. I think your dedicated fans gets reduced when you kill a star player. 2-9 blitz here with Varag. Gets a push out of it. Now 3 plus dodge. Fails the dodge here. Is he going to spend the final reroll in turn 5 to go after this ball? He's thinking about it. Decides to spend it. Couldn't get through the loner roll. That will be a turnover. The Deadly Biscuits with no more rerolls for the half. 1 for the Dead Poets. The ball currently marked by Bourbon Creams, the rookie Black Orc. Dead Poets are going to try to clear this ball, and they're going to try to take off down the left wide zone. Fade coming in to mark the ball. 2-die block on Bourbon Creams. Got the pal. That's going to clear the ball. I don't know why he filled in the gap there. I guess Morrison can move first. That's fine. Good 3 plus pickup. Decides to pick up the ball with Joplin. This is the MA8 player. Didn't go in with Hendricks. I thought for sure he would move the blitzer down pitch, come in and move the school runner and pick up the ball. But he wanted to use sure hands. I think that's wise. Yep. Yep, sure hands. That's right. And after a very hectic first quarter of this game, the Dead Poets able to recover and set up a cage now on the opposing 8-yard line in the left wide zone. Turn 6 now for the Deadly Biscuits. Troll's going to fail a really stupid roll once more. Crunch Golden Creams quickly pulling themselves out of this drive, just staring off into space. Varag, malted milk rather, not Varag, malted milk. Varag is seeing stars currently. Malted milk gets the knockdown against Lara Darren the second. A couple of dodges with the number 10 Goblin lineman will take a mark on Hendricks the second. And now the blitz fails the 2 plus rush here. Oh. 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 Run Bat's disappointed with that. The Dead Poets are going to move this ball down pitch as the first order of business before they start taking some blocks. We're almost certainly going to try to stall this out until turn 8. But a good rush this turn, a 2 plus, would get this ball into the end zone. Yes, indeed. Stalling on the 24-yard line. Morrison's going to come in behind the ball carrier. Takes a mark with Winehouse. Might very well blitz with Hendricks. Just to get Hendricks down pitch. No, he's going to blitz with Morrison instead. He wants that block skill in play. This means he's not going to have two players go down pitch. He's just going to have one. And he only gets a dodge push out of this. I think he... Oh, he doesn't re-roll it. I thought he might re-roll this. Oh, he doesn't need to. He has tackle. Yeah. Well done. Taking blocks before moving Hendricks. Takes a block on Jaffa Snakes. Two-die block on Custard Cream. .555 left on the bonus clock for the Dead Poets. They've got the ball just outside the end zone. And now they're going to foul. So they weren't going to pull in any protection at all. I don't even think they need it. But they went for the foul on the number 10 lineman instead. Didn't get anything out of it. Or they got a stun out of it. Didn't get called off the pitch. Stun's not going to matter too much. Deadly Biscuits looking for some SVP here. Two-die uphill on Harrison. Gets the knockdown here. Well done by Custard Cream. Throw that teammate. Let's go. Let's do it. Oh. Fumbled pass. Two-die block on Lennon. Gets a push out of this. Turn 8 for the Dead Poets with one reroll remaining. Is he going to risk blocks or is he just going to walk it into the end zone and score? We'll see. Dead Poets are going to score. There it is. 1-0. The Dead Poets take the lead. Well done by S. Beaver to take the lead here. The Deadly Biscuits will have one turn left. As you saw there, they do have a troll. They have a throw teammate player. They have players with the right stuff. We'll see if they can get a one-turn touchdown right into the final turn of this first half. Dead Poets setting up their defense here. Looks like they're trying to screen out the throw teammate pass. All right, so that's exactly what they're going to do. The Dead Poets just trying to make the Deadly Biscuits roll as many dice as possible. The way this is going to work is The troll here will be able to throw the teammate. So the ball needs to get into the hands of a goblin. You only get one pass and one handoff a turn. So you can't pass the ball to get it to the goblin because the troll needs to do the pass. So at most it'll be a handoff to the goblin. Oh. Gonna have to block down Alexander first. Alexander with the block skill. Wait, is he? Oh, okay. I was like, what? Wait, he's still marked though. Okay, so there we go. There we go. So I need to get the ball in the hands of the number 8 goblin here. And then get the knockdown, free up the troll. So the troll will pick up the goblin. He'll have to get through like a really hungry roll. That's a nega trait. But the way the throw teammate's going to work is you can throw up to a maximum of a short path. So that's going to be orthogonally up to here. Then there are 4 states of the pass, very similar to a normal pass, but for a throw teammate, it's if you roll a natural 6, it's I think they call it a superb throw, superb pass. Deep kick for the Dead Poets. Do you put somebody under the ball to catch it, or do you just hope that it goes out of bounds? There it is. Ball out of bounds. It'll be put in the hands of put in the hands of Nizer. So a superb pass it'll go to the target square and the teammate will scatter. A scatter is basically 3 bounces. If you fail the pass roll, that's still a successful pass for your throw teammate. But it's just going to make it more difficult for the landing, which we haven't talked about yet. If it's a failed pass, then the teammate will deviate from the point of the pass, and otherwise it's a fumbled pass if it's a natural 1. So a failed pass would be a modified 1. Here's the pass. Oh, didn't land on his feet. Good try, though. Good try. So, yeah, if he lands on his feet, he'll have to make an edge roll. It's a -1 if it was a successful pass, but not a superb pass. And then he's got to get into the end zone, right? So then it's any dodges you need to make, any rushes you need to make. But that scatter is very important on a throw teammate because you can get extra spaces out of it. You can also lose spaces out of it. It's 3 bounces. One to 0 the score. Deadly Biscuits are going to be on offense to start the second half of this game. Dead Poets did not get back their KO, so they're going to be down 2 players to start the second half. The Dead Poets, remember, they have to win this game to keep their hopes alive for making the top 4. A draw's not going to cut it. So the Deadly Biscuits can still take this away from the Dead Poets. We'll see if Run Bad can pull it off. Very hard-fought match between these 2 great coaches so far. And this is where we are at in the league, man. You make the top 4, you have absolutely earned it. 6 on the line for the Deadly Biscuits. Here's the kick. No, that is a great ball. That sandwich is awesome. 13 out of 5 players to move. All right. That's got to be a counter that's not going to even reset. All right, turn 8 for the Deadly Biscuits. The ball, no kicker for the Deadly Biscuits. The ball ends up getting kicked to the 12-yard or the 10-yard line. Did block on the line, gets a push. We'll take the both standing result instead against Harrison. Going to try another block here, perhaps with the troll, maybe. Might take it with malted milk. Going to take it with malted milk. Gets the pal here. Pulling in the assist for the 2-dive block with the big guy, but rolls double skulls. Remember, the big guy is a loner. Spends the reroll, does not get through the loner roll. The big guy knocked down by none other than Laura Dern. And now turn 9 for the Dead Poets. You said all I could do is act. I could do more. I can play Blood Bowl. Turn 9 for the Dead Poets. Now the ball lying on the ground on the Deadly Biscuits 10-yard line. Dude, I gotta look at this ball again. This is awesome. I mean, that is the most delicious football I've ever seen in my entire life. Two-die blitz on Snaggy, the number 11 Goblin here. Hunting this Goblin. Good blitz here by the Dead Poets. Gets a stun out of it. Very well done. Two-die block on Malted Milk. Gets a push out of this. So the Dead Poets not tempted to go after this ball, and I think this is good, a good strategic play on their end here. They do have to win. They're in the lead, so the order of business first is to prevent the score. Then, if you can grab that ball, sure. But there's no need to take any undue risks here, even with the 4 rerolls. Just play it cool, keep the formation intact, stop the score. Dead Poets repositioning their secondary. Turn 10 for the Deadly Biscuits. They have a 2-man player advantage. They're down to 1 reroll for the entire game. Boy, that troll fails the really stupid roll. That's a big, big loss here for the Deadly Biscuits. The troll's going to remain on the ground without any tackle zones. Really hard to keep that mummy in check without the troll. Going to take the 2-die block now. Hoping for the pal. He's got the knockdown. Well done by Runbad. Hank the Ranger, welcome to the stream. Hank the Ranger says, I think for league realism purposes, Bomber Dribble Snot should not be selectable in all future MAML games because he died tonight. Failed pickup here. He'll use pro. Fails the pro roll. Well, succeeded on the pro roll, but failed the re-roll. And the ball ends up on the ground, 1 space to the right of the ball of the would-be ball carrier, Tim Tam. Turn 10 for the Deadly Poets. For the Dead Poets. They're not deadly, they're just dead. Gets the knockdown on Malted Milk. Spire says, is Bomber Dribble Snot available for Necro Undead teams? Necromancers are standing by. Necromancers. What's that doctor's group that like goes around the world helping people that need healthcare? That's what the Necromancers do. There's a group of them that just go around like regenerating people. Gets a stun on the number 10 lineman here. Remember that stunty players are easier to injure. Doctors Without Borders, that's what it is. Necromancers Without Borders. Gets a pal on Bourbon Creams here. Oh no! Big loss! And now a 1-man player advantage for the Deadly Biscuits, but remember, really all they have to play into is their strength, and they've just lost 4 points of strength here. Necromancers without borders or morals. Necromancers without a conscience. Uses a team reroll after the failed rush. Joplin in position on the right. Wide zone. Now the Deadly Biscuits here on turn 11. Get a player in a position to make that a 2+ for the Troll. 2-die block by Varag. 9+ to break armor. But really leveraging that strength 5 out of Varag. Try the ball pickup here again. 3+ works this time. The ball is going to advance to the Deadly Biscuits 4-yard line. They've set up a cage. 3 turns in, but they got there. 2-die block on Winehouse will be a POW. Looking for a 9+ here in the right wide zone. Turn 11 for the Dead Poets. If the Dead Poets do not win, then the Harlequins BBFC will advance to the top 4, and the top 4 will be set. Oh, a kind sir with the raid. Thank you very much for the raid. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, Raiders, to this very important game here in Week 7. 2-die blitz gets a push. Welcome, Raiders. If the Dead Poets win tonight, they will advance to the semifinals. If they don't, then BB Nuts Harlequins BBFC will advance to the semifinals. Alfie Dorado, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Yankee Sullivan, welcome to the stream. Says we're run bad hooligans. Oh, greetings. Thank you, Alfie Dorado. Welcome to the stream. Thank you very much once again. Iron Cynic, welcome to the stream. And again, welcome all Raiders to this pivotal Week 7 match. I don't know why I did that. 2-die block on Custard Cream gets a push. Dead Poets back on the bonus clock here. 5 minutes, 14 seconds to go. Turn 12 now for the Deadly Biscuits. Malted Milk will stand up. Snaggy moves into position in front of the ball, the cage here. 2-die block on Harrison gets a push. Going to push the mummy away. Now the 3-die back at center pitch. Laura Dern gets the vengeance on Laura Dern. Gets a stun out of this. 2-die block on Winehouse over in the right wide zone. Looking for a 9+. Grabs that zombie 1 space back. Says, you're staying here. You and I are going to become very good friends. The ball moves over to center pitch. Still on the 4-yard line now, behind that mighty, mighty Troll. The kind sir says, I think there's still an outside chance that I don't make the playoffs. While that was true at the beginning of this game, I think it's all but untrue now. we'll take a look at the standings here in just a second. Ah, great KO by the Deadly Biscuits. Back up to a 2-man player advantage. Now turn 10. Final turn of the third quarter for the Dead Poets. Right. Well, if he won by 4, he'd still win because he'd have more TDs for you, more TDs than you do. But otherwise, yeah, that would he would have needed to win by 4. But that's not going to happen now. And then in Division B, if the Dead Poets win tonight, then it'll come down to the match between the Harlequins and the Forest of Flames this week. KO on the block here by the Dead Poets, bringing that player advantage back down to 1 for the Deadly Biscuits. Yeah, the way the standings work, it's league points and then who beat whom. So if you had beaten S. Beaver, then you would be placed ahead of them, but you guys drew. So the next tiebreaker is TD differential. That's how many points you've scored versus how many points you've given up. And the last tiebreaker is how many points you've scored. If it's still tied after that, it's just a tie unless it matters for making the cut, in which case it's a playoff. So you play an extra game. 3-die blitz against Snaggy. The rookie Goblin lineman gets the knockdown, repositions Lennon back to center pitch, trying to keep that mummy in the drive. It can be difficult because they only have an MA of 3, especially if they get knocked down. It costs 3 MA to stand up. You get knocked down, next turn, you're doing nothing unless you're rolling dice. Fourth and final quarter begins. The Deadly Biscuits have it on the 4. The Dead Poets in the lead. They need to win to keep their hope alive to make the semifinals. Two-die blitz against the number 1 mummy on the left side of the line. Gets a push out of this. This ball probably shifting back to the right. I'm sorry, to the left. Yes, indeed. So you can see Runbad trying to carve out the left wide zone here. Just keep control of it. Keep control of it for a turn. Then you can start moving that ball down pitch. Iron Cynic, just ignore Nightbot. I don't know what it's talking about. I apologize. I apologize on behalf of Nightbot. KG Moose, welcome to the stream, says that gift never gets old. Dead Poets here need to stop this score. I think it interpreted like a lack of a space after a period as like a URL. Yeah, Nightbot's just a jerk. But better to have the jerk for the spammers. Two-die block here, gets a knockout on Malted Milk. Will probably follow up to take a mark on the ball. There it is. Both teams still holding on to their bribes. Dead Poets are going to reposition the tackle blitzer, Cobain, back into the safety position. He knows that if a goblin breaks away, he wants to leverage that tackle skill to negate the dodge skill on the goblin. Double skulls by Lennon. Will spend a reroll, gets the POW on Crunch Golden Creams. Uses one of those 75 rerolls he started with. He started with 75 rerolls, right? I think it was 75. It might have been 83. It was actually 4, but 5 seconds left on the clock. Four points of movement on Winehouse, trying desperately to get into the drive. Turn 14 for the Deadly Biscuits now. Stand up blitz by Malted Milk. Gets the POW on Harrison. 10 plus breaks armor. Doesn't get it, but clears the ball. Cage moves down pitch. The Cage now on the 10, 12, 14 yard line. Oh boy, Crunch Golden Creams. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? Desperately trying to take out the mummy there. Took the foul, but didn't get anything out of it, and therefore didn't roll doubles either, and therefore didn't need to use the bribe. Lennon, the number 2 mummy, to take a mark on Varag. Varag on the back corner of this cage in a great position here. Puts the strength on the on sort of the weak side, well, on the vulnerable side of the cage. Ball currently in scoring position. The Dead Poets need to cover a lot of ground in front of this cage or take a shot at the ball. There's the coverage. 2-die blitz, gets the pow on Nizer. Will follow up for sure. Marks the ball with his tackle player. That's why he put Cobain in that position. So now, the Deadly Biscuits have a choice to make. One die block on Jaffa Snakes. Gets the POW out of this. Thane, the blodger with a broken arm. Still strong enough to knock down a Black Orc. Turn 15 for the Deadly Biscuits. Two-die blitz by Choco Gobnobs gets, or two-die block rather, gets a POW out of this. That's going to knock down Morrison. Currently 2 rushes to score. Fails to stand up the troll again. Without that teammate next to the troll, it's a 50-50. 2-die block now against Cobain. Gets the push, so he's going to clear that tackle player. Doesn't have to worry about losing the dodge skill now. 2 rushes to score. There it is. 1-2. He's done it. Tying the ball game. The Deadly Biscuits 1-1 now with just a couple of turns left. The Dead Poets need to get on the board, and they need to do it quickly if they want to make the semifinals. Deadly Biscuits will have 2 turns to get on the board here. I think they're going to have a significant player advantage. Let's see, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that right? All right, not that significant. 9v5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it's 9v9. There's no player advantage at all. So the Dead Poets have to score in the next 2 turns, or else their season ends here. 3 competitions the Dead Poets have worked. They've gotten themselves to a good roster here. They've had a great run this season, but they weren't able to advance to the Blood Bowl in the Chaos Cup nor the Spike Magazine Trophy. This is their last chance to do it. Unless there's a timeout, right? If there's a timeout, he'll get an extra, or he'll get an extra turn, I think. It's 14, 15, and 16, right? So putting everyone on the line here. He knows the opponent doesn't have a kicker. Morrison back to receive. Here's the kick. Very shallow kick. The Dead Poets inexplicably get a reroll. So they're up to 3. The ball on the left sideline on the 4. Not the best place for that ball. You definitely don't want this going out of bounds and getting thrown in on your opponent's side of the pitch. Or even worse, I don't know which one's worse. Somewhere you can't get it on your opponent's side, or too far back on your own side to score. Straight up going for the ball pickup with sure hands. Works out. And now the ball on the opposing 10. Three rerolls for the Dead Poets. 2 turns left. An entire season. 3 competitions comes down to 2 turns. And even then, they've got to wait and they've got to see the outcome of this big-time Division B matchup later this week. Cobblestone BB says all of the trusting in Blotch here. Yeah, he's hoping that pal doesn't show up. "20 seconds left in the turn. Might try to get some tackle zones behind this defense here with Thane. We'll see what he decides to do. Might try to mark some players instead. "5 minutes, 8 seconds left on the bonus clock. You can bet S Beaver is going to take as much time as they need to really think out this crucial turn. Will indeed get behind the defense with Thane on the right side, marking Varag, the star player. Bomber dribbles not murdered in the first quarter of this game. Good injury here. Everyone matters. Be better if it was closer to the ball. We'll see what happens. Getting the marks he needs. 3-die block. Got the pal here. He'll be able to mark everyone. Got a KO as well. Great KO. Winehouse is going to move right. No. All right, so Tim Tam's still available. Final turn for the Deadly Biscuits. Can they stop the score? Joplin just in scoring position without any rushes. What a terrible time to fail. To fail the really stupid roll. This time on the 2+. Gets the pal on Alexander. Iron Cynic asks, will injuries be reset for next season? Every season, you have to start a TV 1000. 2-die blot! 2-die block! Spends the reroll, only gets a push out of this. So Joplin's going to stay on the feet and stay in control of the ball. Every season, so our season is 4 competitions long. It's 3 open competitions and then an invitational. At the beginning of every season, so before the Chaos Cup, everybody has to start with fresh teams. So TV 1000 or a TV 1 million, everybody starts with fresh teams. But then over the course of the season, across those competitions, nothing resets. So if you're injured in the last game of the Chaos Cup, you're injured for the first week of the Spike Magazine Trophy. Good jump here by Tim Tam to force that negative dodge here by Joplin. So now if Joplin's going to move backwards, these are all -1s. Final turn of the game. The Dead Poets need to score in order to keep their hope alive to make the cut. Plenty of re-rolls remaining to make whatever big play happen. S. Beaver won the very first competition in the league all the way back in 2020 with a Dwarven team, the Whiny Beavers. Finished last season's Dungeonbowl in 3rd place. 1 die block on Malted Milk. Malted Milk will be pushed right here. And then it looks like he's going to have to make a 3+ dodge with the dodge skill. If he does that, he's won the ball game. There it is! The Dead Poets stay alive! Well done by S. Beaver. Very well played. Got the push to make it a 3+ with a reroll, and there it was. Very well done. And the Dead Poets remain alive in this competition. We're down to 5 teams left. What a game that was. Let's take a look at the standings, and then we'll take a look at the schedule before we leave for the evening. So with that win, the Dead Poets will end regular with a record of 4-1-1 here in week 7. 13 points. That's the minimum now. If you're unfamiliar, this competition is 3 divisions. The winner of each division will advance to the top 4, and the best ranking 2nd place team in each division will advance as the wild card in the top 4 as well. The Dead Poets now setting the bar at 13 points for that 2nd place team. The Kind Peacocks finish Division A in 1st place, so they will advance as they definitely advance. The Dead Poets stay alive. Iron Cynic says, good on Run Bad to make it a game. Yes, just as an aside, I very much appreciate that. I love good sportsmanship. I love it when people go out and you just try your best and you see where you rank, even if you're out of it. Just go in, play your game, and do your best. I very much appreciate that. So thanks to Run Bad for that as well. In Division B, JD Whitey and the Forest of Flame currently in 1st place with an undefeated record of 5-0-0, but they are going to face BB Nuts Harlequin BBFC in week 7 coming up later this week. It's going to be Wood Elves versus Undead, and that is going to be to determine who the Division B champion is going to be. If the Harlequins win that game, they win Division B and they eliminate the Dead Poets. If the Forest of Flames win, they will eliminate the Harlequins BBFC. If it's a draw, let's see, +3 to +2. If it's a draw, then the Dead Poets will advance. So the Harlequins need to win now. They are on the chopping block. They have to win in order to advance to the semifinals. And then in Division B, of course, Nick Saint and San Jose Park guaranteed their slot. They have won Division C. They are 4-0-1. They have one more game to play, but they will be the winner of Division C, and they will be advancing. So we're going to have an Undead team, a Wood Elf team, a Lizard team, and an Imperial Nobility team, all in the semifinals. I'm looking very much forward to that. Let's take a look at our schedule before we leave. All right, coming up next, maybe. I think we're going to have a game. I think games have been scheduled in Discord over the course of this game. It sounds like we're going to have a game this weekend, and it might, in fact, be the the Force of Flame versus Harlequins game. But as it stands, our next streamed game is going to be this Tuesday, September 24th at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's UTC -4. That's going to be Cenozoic Park versus the Tizork Savage Boys, Nick Satan versus Tizzle Bizzle, Lizards versus Orcs. 4 more games left to be scheduled. Watch out for this one. Remember, the Force of Flames versus the Harlequins BBFC. That game is going to determine the final team to make the cut. Is it going to be the Dead Poets, or is it going to be the Harlequins BBFC? These final 4 games have yet to be scheduled, and when they get scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's maml.club here on Twitch, or on our social media pages on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is so much fun. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, and Xbox, and in tabletop form at your friendly local game store. Until Tuesday, but probably this weekend. Take care, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening. Congratulations once again to S. Beaver.